Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Jujutsu Kaisen. Gojo family swordsmith refuses to be cut in half. Chapter 1. Traveling through time and becoming Gojo Satoru's younger brother. Today is a day that the entire Jujutsu world will remember. Six Eyes, the pupil of the sky, appears again. At this moment, there was silence inside Gojo's house, one of the big three sorcerer families in the Jujutsu world. Everyone stared at the two identical babies on the bed with their mouths wide open, but could not say a word. Six Eyes. This is the moment when the first baby is born and opens his eyes, everyone agrees. These are a pair of beautiful eyes that are like the sky extending into the distance. These are a pair of pale blue eyes with white mist. The entire Jujutsu world is a rare occurrence in a century, and only one case in hundreds of years may appear. This is a special trait inherited from the Gojo family. 360-degree long-distance vision, you can see from behind and you can see from a long distance away. When the first baby boy opened his eyes, everyone was extremely excited. The Gojo family had been silent for long enough. Six Eyes is a certain future for the Gojo family. However, when the second baby boy opened his eyes and revealed identical eyes, everyone could only fall silent. The same six eyes, the same pupil of the sky. If a baby boy is a surprise to the Gojo family, then the second baby boy with six eyes is a shock to the Gojo family. In the Jujutsu world, twins can be regarded as a curse for the family, and can even be regarded as a bad omen. Because twins are twins of destiny. Although they are independent, they are related to each other and influence each other. If they were just ordinary people, this might be a good sign, but among the sorcerer family, this basically represents the mediocrity of two people. But now, for two newborns with the eyes of heaven, they are more likely to influence each other. Everyone subconsciously looked at the old man in the center of the room, waiting for what decision the old man would make. As if feeling the changes in everyone's movements, the two baby boys actually made the same movements, looking at the old man silently, and the old man's figure was reflected in the eyes of the sky. However, the eyes of the firstborn baby boy were full of indifference, without any curiosity about the world. His identity is very special. He is the chosen one in this world and will become the strongest Jujutsu master in the entire Jujutsu world in the future. The eyes of the other baby boy were filled with relief, he was finally born. His eyes sparkled with a maturity that was not that of a baby. I really didn't expect to travel to the world of Jujutsu Kaisen and become Gojo Satoru's younger brother. The whole pregnancy process seemed like a narrow escape. Although I'm very sorry for what happened to Gojo Satoru, it's not like he traveled through time and became his younger brother, right? This is too much pressure. Lu Ming's heart was filled with emotion. Yes, he is a time traveler who traveled through time and became Gojo Satoru's twin brother. He also possesses the six eyes, and is also expected to be the same as Gojo Satoru. However, in fact, only he knows in his heart that he and Gojo Satoru are completely different. During the pregnancy process, Lu Ming experienced the fear of almost death. He should not have been born. In the original world, Gojo Satoru should not have had a twin brother, and Six Eyes should have had only one pair in the same era. The appearance of Lu Ming broke the original world line and affected the direction of the world. This is not the key, after all, everything has come, right? But the most terrifying thing is that Lu Ming almost died in his mother's womb. In the process of growing up with Gojo Satoru had unintentionally absorbed the magic power in Lu Ming's baby. According to normal development, Lu Ming's power will be absorbed by Gojo Satoru in his mother's womb and disappear completely. However, as a time traveler, Lu Ming awakened the reperfusion system at the most critical moment when he was about to die. With the help of the system, he transformed himself from a Jujutsu master into a death god. Because of this change, Lu Ming was able to survive. However, at the same time, all the remaining magic power in his body was absorbed by Gojo Satoru. Gojo Satoru is still the Gojo Satoru who is the only one in the world. However, Lu Ming has no talent as a Jujutsu master at all, and has become a baby boy with only the special trait of six eyes and carrying heavenly restriction. Of course, this does not include the death fusion system. And all this, from the perspective of outsiders, is a completely different situation. Gojo Satoru, a peerless prodigy with six eyes, abundant magical power, and amazing talents. Lu Ming, who has no magic power and cannot become the owner of heavenly restriction as a jujutsu master, is a loser. These two labels were already placed on each of them the moment they were born. Patriarch, the twins are cursed to the family. Since the one born later cannot feel a trace of the curse, it means that he is the one who was eliminated. The pseudo six-eyes twin with heavenly restriction is likely to affect the true pupil of the sky. I recommend. A middle-aged man with a stern face walked up to the old man and whispered his opinions without any concealment. Lu Ming felt the murderous intention in his heart, but he was powerless at this time. Although he has a system, he is still a newborn baby after all and has no power to resist an adult at all. Now people are the swordsmen, he is the flesh and blood, and their destiny is completely controlled by others. When other people at the scene heard this suggestion, a look of unbearable expression appeared on their faces. Although the twins were a curse to the Jujutsu Master family, the children were innocent. However, no one dared to stand up. No one can guarantee whether this fake six-eyes baby boy with heavenly restriction will affect the real heavenly eyes owners of the Gojo family. Now, all the decisions are placed on the head of the Gojo family. The old man was silent for a moment, then came to the two baby boys and touched their heads with both hands. The owner of the Eye of Heaven should have absolute confidence. The Gojo family is not afraid of curse, which is just a rumor. A kind smile appeared on the old man's face. He looked at the real owner of Six Eyes and said softly, "From now on, your name will be Satoru, Gojo Satoru." Then, he turned to look at Lu Ming and nodded. "You are younger than Satoru. Although you have no magic power, the Gojo family can still give you a world of survival. It's just that if you want to scream, you have to rely on your own power. You are Satoru's younger brother. From now on, you will be called Gojo Naru." Gojo's Six Eyes was born again today, but this time, there are two Six Eyes. The incident of the twins' Six Eyes shocked the entire Jujutsu world. But only the senior members of the Gojo family in the room knew that one of the two pairs of heavens was a Zaibe with no magic power. Lu Ming, and now Gojo Ming calmly breathed a sigh of relief. At least you don't have to face a life crisis right after birth. Close black lens bracket. Satoru, being your brother is really a hell of a start. Fortunately, I am cheating. At the same time, a cold voice sounded in Gojo Ming's mind. Host Gojo Ming was successfully born, the Shinigami fusion system was successfully bound, and a birth gift package was issued, Zanpakuto cursed tool forging technique inactive. Close black lens bracket. While being carried away by the nanny and leaving the delivery room, Gojo Ming, who had received a new name, was interacting with the system. He knew that as a carrier of heavenly restriction, he would not be taken seriously by the Gojo family at all. In the current Jujutsu world environment, no one will realize the power of heavenly restriction. This phenomenon will continue until Zenin, the tyrant of heaven and earth, makes his name. However, until then, he, the carrier of heavenly restriction, would simply be ignored by his family. At present, everyone in the Gojo family will be happy for the birth of Gojo Satoru, but they only have disgust in their hearts for this baby with pseudo six eyes and no magic power, and may even have resentment about why they don't die. However, this does not matter to Lu Ming. As long as you survive, nothing will be a problem. Isn't it just that there is no magic power? Doesn't it mean that you can't become a jujutsu master? However, don't you still have a system? Moreover, in this world, the holders of heavenly restriction are not good people. Gojo Ming sighed in his heart. Since he and Gojo Satoru are twins, then naturally he cannot let his cheap brother be reduced to the point of being cut in half. When I was reading the comics, I was full of regrets about many plots in the story. Now that I have traveled to this world, I must change the world. As for how to change, well, let's start with the so-called death fusion system in the body. System, can you exchange me for various heaven-defying skills? I can't use jujutsu, surely you can give me some compensation. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket cannot. Close black lens bracket. Can you redeem some magical props? Like the Zanpakuto from the Bleach world. Or something ghostly. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket cannot. Close black lens bracket. Then can you issue me a task and let me get a series of rewards after completing it? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket cannot. Close black lens bracket. For 3 questions in a row, this mysterious death fusion system gave a negative answer. This made Gojo Ming, who was still a child, very frustrated. Then what use can you have? Close black lens bracket. The system aims to help the host complete the fusion of the Death God and the Jujutsu Master. It has been confirmed that the host cannot become a Jujutsu Master. The ultimate goal of the system cannot be achieved, and the task function and exchange function have been damaged. Close black lens bracket. The remaining functions of the system are as follows. Zanpakuto Forging Function, Zanpakuto Ghost Learning Function. Gojo Ming felt a little calmer after hearing the system's answer. At least, the system still has some functions that can help him. Zanpakuto and Zankinzuki are both very important things to the Shinigami. It would be great if the system could give itself another Hongyoku. In this way, there should be no crisis in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. Gojo Ming was looking forward to the system's subsequent functions, but to his surprise, after talking about the 2 functions, Lu Ming was shocked to find that the system fell silent. System, continue to explain other functions. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming asked in his heart. There are only 2 categories of remaining functions of the system, all of which have been fully explained. Close black lens bracket. The system's response immediately made Gojo Ming's blue eyes sluggish. My golden finger hasn't even started to be used yet, and it's already semi-disabled. There are only 2 functions left. Is it lucky or unlucky for me to have traveled to this Jujutsu Kaisen world? I was very unlucky and died unexpectedly in my previous life, and then I was lucky enough to time travel. He was so unlucky that he was almost absorbed by Gojo Satoru in his mother's womb, but he was lucky enough to survive by awakening his system. Now the system is very unlucky to be left with 2 functions, and then, fortunately, these 2 functions seem to be good. Gojo Ming could only comfort himself like this. Modern people don't dare to say that they have ever been successful in the workplace without mastering some self-PUA abilities. But, no matter what, the core system of the Shinigami world, the Zanpakuto still has its functions, right? This Zanpakuto alone will give me a lot of help in the future. He is the holder of Heavenly Restriction, and Cursed Tool is his core. And, the Zanpakuto he forges in the future will undoubtedly be his core Cursed Tool. Open black lens bracket. Forget it. This is already very good. People are not satisfied with the snake swallowing the elephant. Zanpakuto and Zankinzuki can still be used, which is already very good. Close black lens bracket. System, how should I forge a Zanpakuto? Close black lens bracket. Host, the Zanpakuto forging function has not been activated yet. Please have a forging tool of your own first. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Ha! You even need real forging tools. Can't you use your mind to rub the Zanpakuto? Close black lens bracket. Please first have a forging tool of your own. Close black lens bracket. The system responded mechanically. Gojo Ming felt very helpless. Then tell me, how can I activate the 4 skills that the God of Death must master, Zon Fist Zon Gui? Close black lens bracket. It is detected that the host does not currently have the conditions to learn how to slay fists and walk away ghosts, so it cannot be turned on. Please explore by yourself later. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming's heart was filled with helplessness. This is too scary. I am just a child. I don't know how old I will have to wait until I actually own a forging tool. And I don't know the conditions for slaying the fist and walking away the ghost. If I have to explore it by myself, isn't it going to end my life? Gojo Ming really wanted to complain, but the system couldn't respond at all. Is this the beginning of my new world? It's really a surprise, but also a scare. 6 eyes, twins. These 2 words are strung together, and the entire Jujutsu world is boiling. Although the Gojo family does not deliberately promote it, as one of the big 3 sorcerer families, their every move is observed by the entire Jujutsu world. 6 eyes, this kind of thing is too shocking. Not long after Gojo Satoru and Gojo Naru were born, the Zenin and Kamo families already knew the news. When they heard that the 2 baby boys were both 6 eyes, the 2 clan leaders immediately fell into silence, and the atmosphere in the entire clan seemed very depressing. The Gojo family, the Zenin family and the Kamo family are known as the 3 major families in the Jujutsu world. They are called the Big Three sorcerer families by many jujutsu masters and are the mainstay of the entire jujutsu world. However, the three major families also have their own competitions. Now, 2 Six Eyes of the Gojo family are born, which means that for a long time in the future, the two major families will not be able to compete with them in terms of heirs. It's too scary. The twins' 6 eyes, if the source of the news wasn't very reliable, I would even suspect that this is fake news. Now we can only hope that the 6 eyes twins of the Gojo family will influence each other. Will the twins with 6 eyes also have the twin Jujutsu Master curse? Zenon's old master looked very helpless. I am already quite old, and I have obviously managed to raise the power of the Zenon family to the highest level. I never thought that such a big thing would happen in the last days of my life. Although, I may not be able to live until the Gojo family's 6 eyes has grown up, and I will not be able to see the decline of the Zenon family. However, seeing the threat to the Gojo family getting bigger day by day, it was impossible for him to rest peacefully. On the other hand, the head of the Kamo family was even more depressed. Originally, the Kamo family did not have a strong say among the three major families, and he had always wanted to change this situation through hard work. However, now, with the birth of 2 Six Eyes from the Gojo family, the confidence of the head of the Kamo family has been severely damaged. Did the Gojo family save Amaterasu? They were able to get 2 Six Eyes at the same time. These are 6 eyes. Even if they are twins, they will probably stand at the top of Jujutsu masters in the future. The head of the Kamo family can only hope that the descendants of the Kamo family can be more diligent and produce users of the red blood manipulation technique with higher talent. 6 years later. Ming, do you want to go out to play? A boy with white hair, white eyelashes and a pair of blue eyes looked at his younger brother curiously, wondering what his younger brother was thinking about every day. Although many people in the family said that Gojo Ming would hinder their future and told them not to have contact with him. However, Gojo Satoru has his own ideas. He has unusual feelings for his twin brother who is exactly the same as himself. Although this younger brother cannot use spells and has heavenly restriction, this does not prevent him from showing his care as an older brother. Satoru, are you sure the head of the family will let you go out to play? The two of us are on the dark web, but there is a very high reward. If you escape secretly and go out to play, you may cause trouble for the family. Gojo Ming glanced at his cheap brother. He was already used to Gojo Satoru's out-of-the-box character. Gojo Satoru, Gojo Ming, the two children of the Gojo family, have been posted with a reward of 100 million on the dark web. This kind of reward is too tempting, so it also attracts many jujutsu masters who overestimate their abilities. It is nonsense for a bastard jujutsu master to break through the Gojo family's protection. The truly powerful upper-class jujutsu masters know that these bounties are simply traps. The importance of 6 eyes to the Gojo family is self-evident. They represent the future of the Gojo family, so the Gojo family will do their best to protect the 6 eyes. There was no way they could have access to Gojo Satoru under these circumstances. Moreover, even if they really had a chance to kill 6 eyes of the Gojo family, they would not be able to escape alive due to the angry counterattack of the Gojo family. Therefore, as Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming grow older, there are fewer and fewer attempted assassinations against them. Now, Gojo Satoru, who has a free-spirited personality, wants to get rid of the protection of his family and go out with Gojo Ming. After all, both of them have 6 eyes. Yes, both of them have 6 eyes. Although Gojo Naru's 6 eyes is not as comprehensive as Gojo Satoru's 6 eyes, it still has the basic function of a 360-degree viewing angle. With the two of them together, basically anyone who has murderous intentions towards them will appear in their sight without hiding. Satoru, I know that you have basically mastered the unlimited technique. So, you want to show off, ignore those killers at all, and even want to get in touch with those killers in person, right? Gojo Ming's expression was a little helpless. Although Gojo Satoru's talent is unprecedented, he is still just a child after all, and his personality is not very mature. After learning something new, I always want to show it off. He is an adult, but he has no idea of showing off. If showing off requires putting himself in danger, then this makes Gojo Ming want to refuse. But, 5 minutes later, Gojo Satoru directly carried Gojo Naru over the wall and jumped out. Gojo Ming's loveless expression completely showed what he was thinking at this time. Gojo Satoru, you guy. Do you have to squander your talents? There are things you will regret in the future. Close black lens bracket. You are treating me like this, be careful. I will not help you make up for your regrets in the future. I will let you end up being cut in half. Close black lens bracket. Damn, Gojo Satoru, you're carrying me like this, I don't want to lose face, right? If I didn't have the power of magic, the power of heavenly restriction would not be fully developed, and you might be the one who is unable to fight back now. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming's heart was filled with complaints about his own system. It has been 6 years, and he has not yet successfully activated his Zanpakuto ability. The so-called Zanpakuto ghost walking function has been pretending to be dead within the system. If the system didn't respond to him every time, Gojo Ming would really feel like he got a fake system. As the body grows, the physical strengthening brought by heavenly restriction has begun to take effect, but the death fusion system still has no effect. If this broken system hadn't saved his life when he was born, Gojo Ming would have really wanted to give up. He is aware of the development of the entire Jujutsu Kaisen world. He has heavenly restriction and does not have any magic power, but he has the same talent as Future Sky and the Tyrant Zenin. As long as you concentrate on your practice, you might not be able to become another deity and tyrant. Maybe, in the future, I still don't know who is stronger or weaker between myself and Gojo Satoru. Of course, all of this is just Gojo Ming's inner complaints. Anyway, at the moment, Gojo Satoru, who has mastered unlimited techniques, is completely beating Gojo Ming. When will I be able to build my Zanpakuto? When I have a Zanpakuto, I will use it to slash you first, Satori. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Satoru, who was thrown directly to the ground by Gojo Satoru, had resentment in his eyes. He looked at Gojo Satoru who was standing beside him coolly, but he could only fall to the ground. Such a posture was not cool. In this way, the Gojo twins, two identical six-eyes teenagers, left the Gojo family alone. Naru, it doesn't matter if you don't have magic power. I'll go back and help you find a way to become a Jujutsu master. It's just magic power and techniques. Trust me, brother. Gojo Satoru didn't understand the situation of heavenly restriction at this time, so he always felt sorry for Gojo Ming. Six eyes are not ordinary people. They are born with basic consciousness and super memory. Therefore, Gojo Satoru clearly remembers what he did to Gojo Ming in his mother's womb, and also knows the reason why Gojo Ming has no magic power in his body. Gojo Satoru knew that there was magic power in Gojo Ming's previous body. Moreover, the intensity of the spell is similar to his own. It is entirely because of thoughts that he could not control at the beginning that he forcibly absorbed Gojo Ming's spell power, causing Gojo Ming to end up with no spell power. In the entire Jujutsu world, almost everyone has the power of magic. It is very rare to be completely unaware of the existence of magic power after birth like Gojo Naru. Because there is no magic power, Gojo Ming does not have the unique talent of the Gojo family such as unlimited spells, like Gojo Satoru. If curse power is compared to electricity, then the magic that everyone is born with is an electrical appliance that can produce various effects by pouring electricity into it. To explain it in words that time travelers can understand better, the power of the spell is equivalent to the chakra in Naruto, and the techniques are equivalent to ninjutsu, but the techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen are basically innate abilities, almost it cannot be understood through acquired practice or other means, so it is also called the Shung technique. Because he knew that Gojo Ming could have the same future as him, Gojo Satoru always felt sorry for Gojo Ming. That's why he repeatedly emphasized to the family's senior management not to have contact with Gojo Ming. Still, he went his own way and still didn't give up on Gojo Ming. Satoru, don't worry too much. It's fine without the curse. Gojo Naru smiled slightly. He was actually very happy in his heart. Fortunately, Gojo Satoru absorbed his own spell and became the owner of heavenly restriction. If this thing hadn't happened, they might have been replicas of Zenin Maki and Zenin Mai in the future. Both of their magical powers and physical talents may not be able to be used to their full potential. Gojo Ming stood up and patted the dust on his butt, ready to continue to comfort Gojo Satoru, but then a trace of amusement appeared on his face. Satoru, it seems that someone is really cooperating with you. It's your time to perform. Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming glanced at each other, and they both understood that they had discovered the Jujutsu master hidden in the distance. Well, Ming, it seems you haven't given up on the development of Six Eyes. To each other. Realizing that an attack was about to occur, Gojo Satoru's character instantly jumped out even more. Today, he was going to show off the unlimited techniques he had mastered in front of Gojo Ming. We must use this exciting trick to arouse Gojo Ming's fighting spirit and stimulate Gojo Ming's idea of becoming a Jujutsu master, so as to prevent Gojo Ming from failing every day. Gojo Ming knew what Gojo Satoru was thinking, but he couldn't say it clearly. He could only stand beside him silently, waiting for his cheap brother's performance. In the distance, a middle-aged Jujutsu master stared sharply at Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming. He did not expect to see his bounty target when he tentatively came near the Gojo family mansion. What made Arai Haruki even more excited was that the two Six Eyes from Gojo's family actually ran away without anyone following them. With the strength of a second-level Jujutsu master, he has confidence in his own strength. As long as he is given enough preparation time, he will definitely be able to kill Gojo Satoru and Gojo Naru. Haruki Arai is a new assassin who has gained a reputation throughout the dark web. He has successfully completed difficult assassination bounties many times, which has caused his heart to feel very swollen at this time. By assassinating two Six Eyes, I can directly obtain a bounty of 200 million. I will definitely be the ace killer of the dark web in the future. Saijing Yangwei maintained his inner emotions and took out a dark purple dagger from his arms. Yi Ning, this is the first-level cursed tool dagger he accidentally discovered. As long as the skin is slightly scratched by Yi Ning, the injured person's blood will coagulate and die. This is the fundamental reason why he can complete many high-priced rewards. Cursed tool Yi Ning paired with his own unique jujutsu, this is the fundamental reason why Arai Haruki is confident to complete the bounty. Breaking the sky, the name of Arai Haruki's technique. As long as he is given enough time to prepare, he can break the space, probe the body parts into the void that no one can perceive, and appear at the other end of the broken space at the same time. In short, he can reach out into the sky and wave the cursed tool, night condensation, 500 meters away from Gojo's house. His arm will be separated from his body. Between Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming appears from behind and attacks the target secretly. Countless powerful people died under the strange spell of Arai Yangwei without any intention. Arai Haruki stared intently at Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming, and breaking sky had been opened. Cursed tool Yi Ning and his arms have reached into the sky. I accepted the 200 million with a smile. Saijing Yangwei grinned widely and waved his right hand violently. The arm that appeared behind Gojo Satoru and Gojo Naru threw breaking sky and the cursed tool Yi Ning waved violently. However, the next second, Saijing Yangwei was shocked. Because he found that Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming, whom he had always regarded as prey, turned their heads to look in his direction at the same time, with expressions on their faces full of amusement. It was as if these two people had always known that they were here. Damn it, what happened? When death is imminent, you still show such an expression. Although he was shocked by the expressions of the Gojo brothers, Arai Haruki was still not ready to stop. In his opinion, this blow was inevitable. However, the moment cursed tool Yi Ning was about to stab the target, he suddenly felt a strong repulsive force on his right arm. No matter how hard he tried, Yi Ning could not take a step forward. No lower limit defense, open. Gojo Satoru, who had seen Haruki Arai's attack preparations at the first sight, had already prepared for unlimited defense. While blocking cursed tool Yi Ning, Gojo Satoru also explained to Gojo Ming very thoughtfully. This is no lower limit defense. It is the basic application of Gojo's no lower limit technique. To put it simply, the closer all the techniques are to the initiator, the slower they will be, and finally achieve a static effect, making the attack permanent. The body of the person who initiated the spell cannot be touched. How about it, Ming, isn't it cool? Do you want to learn? Gojo Ming twitched his lips and clapped perfunctorily. Wow, Satoru, it's really amazing. Don't I know how powerful the unlimited technique is? But it's a pity that I don't have magic power, woo. Close black lens bracket. Fortunately, I am a time traveler, I know the power of heavenly restriction, and I also know how to use it in the future. If I were really your aboriginal brother, I would definitely be so angry with you that I would become autistic. Close black lens bracket. Hey, Satoru, if you can't find a solution, don't make any promises. Although you will be the strongest Jujutsu master in the future, you cannot change heavenly restriction. After complaining to Gojo Satoru in his heart, Gojo Naru reached out and patted Arai Haruki's right hand that protruded from breaking sky and then easily took cursed tool Yi Ning out of his hand. Because he possesses the Zanpakuto cursed tool forging technique, Gojo Ming is still aware of the power of this cursed tool. Although the blacksmithing technique has not been activated yet, it does not prevent him from studying some knowledge related to cursed tool. In the distance, Arai Haruki stared at Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming in shock, not knowing what was going on. The next second, a middle-aged man with a bare upper body, muscles like rocks, and a hammer appeared next to Arai Yangwei. The first time he saw this man, Arai Yangwei felt an extremely powerful sense of oppression. It was clear that the man in front of him was not more powerful than himself, but he had no intention of resisting in his heart. If you resist, you will die. Close black lens bracket. This is the only thought in Saijing Yangwei's heart at the moment. Misunderstand. Saijing Yangwei still wanted to struggle. But the middle-aged man in front of him had a face full of disdain, and he slammed the hammer down, knocking Arai Yangwei unconscious to the ground. This new hot killer on the dark web was controlled outside Gojo's house. Wu, Ming, you two are just running around. The head of the family is very angry. If I hadn't felt the fluctuation of the spell, I wouldn't have known you were near me. The middle-aged man held the hammer in his right hand and dragged Arai Haruki to Gojo Satoru and Gojo Naru with his left hand. Ming, give me that cursed tool, too. It's not something you should play with at your age. The middle-aged man glanced at Gojo Ming and distinguished the two people with one glance. Uncle Zhou Yi, I am Ming, and the one holding the cursed tool is Satoru. Gojo Satoru deliberately imitated Gojo's voice, referring to his voice as enlightenment. He was very unconvinced why Gojo Zui could easily distinguish them from each other every time. Besides, he is just an ordinary killer. Satoru can already use unlimited spells to protect me. Gojo Satoru seemed to be pretending to be addicted, and his tone sounded very certain. Gojo Takuya touched his unshaven chin, his face full of playfulness, and his two thick arms stretched directly to the sides of Gojo Satoru and Gojo Ming, one on the left and the other on the right, and hugged the two children at once. You still say you are Naru. Satoru, your muscles are not as strong as Naru's. Although you are extremely talented in Jujutsu, you still have to exercise your body. After saying that, Gojo Zui looked at Gojo Ming sitting on his left arm. Why did you sneak out with Satoru today? Gojo Takuya's face was a little doting, and he obviously showed a different emotion than when he treated Gojo Satoru. Gojo Zui is the cursed tool forger of the Gojo family. Many cursed tools used by the Gojo clan come from his hands. However, in the world of Jujutsu, the profession of cursed tool master is completely inferior to that of Jujutsu master. Generally, only those with weak spell power in the family and those without the talent of a Jujutsu master will switch to this profession. Therefore, Gojo Zui has basically never seen anyone take the initiative to be interested in cursed tool forging. To his surprise, Gojo Ming took the initiative to follow him after he was able to move on his own, expressing his desire to learn cursed tool forging from him. Although everyone said that Gojo Naru's eyes were fake six eyes, after all, Gojo Naru was considered the legitimate son of the Gojo family, and it was quite unexpected that he was willing to get in touch with cursed tool forging. What Gojo Zui naturally didn't know was that the fundamental reason why Gojo Ming contacted him was to obtain a forging tool. He must have a forging tool to activate the Zanpakuto forging function in the system. So, when he got his first hammer as a gift at the age of 3, he was extremely excited. However, what he didn't expect was that this Zanpakuto forging function would require him to slowly improve his forging skills. In this way, after following Gojo Zui for such a long time, Gojo Ming finally improved his forging skills to the critical level. As long as there is another opportunity, he should be able to reach the standard to activate the Zanpakuto forging function. Gojo Ming sat on Gojo Zui's arm, looked at the cursed tool master who had been teaching him, and responded politely. Master Zhou Yi, I didn't want to come out at all. Today I was dragged out by Wu. He has mastered the unlimited technique, so I can't beat him at all. After saying that, Gojo Ming jumped off Zhou Yi's arm and handed the cursed tool in his hand to Gojo Zhou Yi. Master, this cursed tool seems to be very special and of high quality. Zhou Yi took the cursed tool and nodded. The cursed tool Yi Ning was created by a cursed tool master. I never expected that it would fall into the hands of this person. Gojo Takuya kicked Arai Haruki, who fainted on the ground, and continued to speak. Ming, you should also become a cursed tool master in the future. I have this confidence in you. You can also forge a cursed tool like Yi Ning in the future. However, this cursed tool cannot be given to you for the time being. Although it is your trophy, you are still too young now. Gojo Zui put the cursed tool Yi Ning into his own clothes. Then, he put Gojo Satoru down, and just when he was about to speak, another Jujutsu master from the Gojo family, Gojo, appeared in front of the three of them. Master Wu, are you okay? Gojo's expression turned displeased. Gojo Shunichi is Gojo Satoru's guard captain and has always been responsible for guarding Gojo Satoru's safety. This time, because he was called by the clan leader to explain some things, he temporarily left Gojo Satoru for a while, causing Gojo Satoru to find a gap to escape. After coming back, Shunyi felt very nervous when he saw that Gojo Satoru was missing. Feeling the fluctuation of spell power outside the mansion, he came here immediately. Seeing Gojo Satoru with Gojo Ming and Gojo Takuya, his expression was very dissatisfied. Because of his love for Gojo Satoru, he was very resistant to Gojo Satoru coming to find Gojo Ming. He is a firm believer in the Gemini curse theory. He feels that as long as Gojo Ming is close to Gojo Satoru, it will affect Gojo Satoru's growth. Master Wu, what happened here? Gojo Shunyi frowned and moved directly to Gojo Satoru's side, separating Gojo Ming and Gojo Takuya, his face full of vigilance. It's just an assassination. It's nothing, don't be nervous, Shunyi. Gojo Satoru shrugged, pushed Gojo away instantly, and patted Gojo Naru's shoulder. Ming, it seems that our escape plan failed today. Not only was it discovered by Uncle Zhou Yi, but it was also found by Shunyi. Gojo Satoru's tone was still frivolous, but he also knew that they would go back to the mansion next. Well, it looks like it failed. However, this is not my plan, it is your own plan, Satoru. I know my situation, and I will not just think about showing off my abilities like you. Please pay attention to your safety. Satoru, although your talents are outstanding, after all, you are not invincible yet. Gojo Naru thought of the scene where Gojo Satoru was cut in half by Sukuna in the future, and his expression suddenly became dark. I don't want this cheap brother to end up like that again in the future. Therefore, every time we meet, he will subtly influence Gojo Satoru's character, hoping that he can become more calm. However, what Gojo Naru didn't realize was that his preaching to Gojo Satoru was completely disrespectful to Six Eyes in Gojo Shunyi's eyes. A mere fake Six Eyes, without any magical power, what qualifications does he have to educate the real Six Eyes? Master Wu, let's go back. The master of the family is looking for you. Gojo Shunichi respectfully conveyed the instructions of the head of the Gojo family to Gojo Satoru. Hey, I know. Ming, I'm going back first, and I'll come and play with you when I have the chance. Gojo Satoru shook his head helplessly and left with Gojo Shunichi. The moment Gojo Satoru turned around, Gojo's expression suddenly turned disdainful, and his eyes looking at Gojo Naru were full of ridicule. Even Gojo Zui on the side was completely ignored by Gojo Shunyi. Leave the assassin to me. If you dare to assassinate near the Gojo family's residence, it seems that the pressure the Gojo family puts on the darknet is still too light. As Gojo Shunyi completely took over the assassination incident, Gojo Ming and Gojo Zui became completely outsiders. Looking at Gojo Shunyi's leaving back and feeling Gojo Shunyi's differential treatment, Gojo Zui clenched the hammer in his right hand with a trace of sadness in his eyes. As a member of the Gojo family, although he knew that it was not right to treat him differently, he could not change it. Gojo Zui touched Gojo Ming's white hair, stared into Gojo Ming's blue eyes, and said in a deep voice. Naru, you know what? The entire Gojo family is like a big tree. Jujutsu masters are the trunk of this big tree, and those of us who don't have the talent of Jujutsu masters are the branches and leaves of the big tree. Only when everyone fulfills their duties can the big tree of the Gojo family flourish. The power of spells and spells are destiny destined by God. No one can change it. From the moment you are born, you cannot complain. Gojo Zui does not want Gojo Ming to have other unrealistic ideas. Although Gojo Ming has excellent forging talent, in this world dominated by Jujutsu masters, the influence of the cursed tool forger is not worth mentioning at all. Although Gojo Ming and Gojo Satoru are both legitimate sons and have the right to compete for the head of the family, in the future, the actual representative of the Gojo family can only be Gojo Satoru. Therefore, Gojo Zui must make Gojo Ming recognize the reality. The Gojo family protects many Gojo people, and at the same time, the Gojo people can only follow the rules specified by the Gojo family. I know, Master Zhou Yi. Gojo Ming knew that Gojo Zui cooked this bowl of chicken soup for his own good, and he had never thought about competing with Gojo Satoru for anything. However, it's really uncomfortable to be treated differently like this. Although I don't have the talent for magic, I can't say who will be stronger in the future. The death system in your body is not just for free. When he forges a Zanpakudo, masters the 4 skills of Zanpakudo, and becomes a qualified Shinigami, then Satoru, the strongest Jujutsu master, may not be his opponent. Oh, by the way, in a few days, someone from the Zenin family will come to visit the Gojo family. Gojo Zui seemed to suddenly remember something and said to Gojo Ming. I heard before that the Zenin family also has a carrier of heavenly restriction. However, although he is your generation, he is older than you. It seems that the name is Zenin. I should also come to visit this time. After all, it is an exchange between peers. Ming, you can also communicate with this heavenly restriction carrier. I heard that although that person has no spell power, he is actually very strong and very talented. The Gojo family and the Zenin family are both famous families in the Jujutsu world. You should work hard. Heavenly restriction is not a curse. As long as you want to become stronger, nothing can stop you. Gojo Zui is still so good at making chicken soup, but the information he brought this time made Gojo Ming's expression change slightly. What the hell, Zenin? He is the same generation as me and you want me to compete with him? Close black lens bracket. Oh, indeed, although Zenin looks older, he is indeed as senior as himself. Close black lens bracket. However, that is the tyrant of heaven and earth. Gojo Satoru almost died in his hands before he was fully awakened. The special level Jujutsu master is not a threat in front of Zenin. Close black lens bracket. Although Gojo Ming is confident enough in his own system, he is also very sad when he hears Gojo Zhou Yi standing and talking without pain. However, since the master has spoken, he must work hard, at least not to disappoint the master. Okay, Master Zhou Yi. I will work hard. At this moment, Zenin Shear should not have reached the level of being a tyrant in the future, and he has not yet left Zenin's house. He should still be able to communicate well. According to the original plot, apart from Zenin, there is no one in the Zenin family who can compete with the Gojo family. Among the younger generation, Gojo Ming has basically never heard of a few famous figures. As the carrier of heavenly restriction, Zenin didn't even receive much attention in the Zenin family. According to the original plot arrangement, Zenin should be the first character to become famous through heavenly restriction. Before him, there were many carriers of heavenly restriction. However, only Zenin is the most special one. Before Gojo Ming was born, Zenin was the only one who had no magic power. However, in the future, it is precisely because of heavenly restriction's physical compensation that Zenin will be able to become a true Jujutsu master killer. However, on the other hand, although the Gojo family occupies a very large space in the entire story, in fact, except for the birth of Six Eyes, basically no other characters appear. The only genius, Gojo Satoru, has the aura of a natural protagonist, but later he ends up being cut in half, which completely makes Gojo Naru, the reader, very unhappy. But no matter what, now that he exists, everything will change. Wouldn't Gojo Satoru be cut in half? What if I gave him a powerful Zanpakudo? Will Gojo Satoru, who possesses a top-notch cursed tool like his Zanpakudo, end up like a clown? Moreover, he will also have a Zanpakuto and Zankinzuki in his hands in the future, plus he is familiar with the future. If he cannot become a strong man who affects the world, then he might as well be accidentally killed by Gojo Satoru in his mother's womb. Seeing Gojo Ming's expression slowly become firm, Gojo Zui seemed to see another pillar of Gojo's family, and a smile appeared on his face. Ming, you are also the holder of 6 eyes. You will definitely not be any worse than Wu in the future. Let's go to the forge and let me see your recent growth. After saying that, Gojo Zui turned around and walked into the Gojo family mansion, heading towards the forge that he had been operating for these years. Gojo Ming was thinking about his recent breakthrough in forging level and the upcoming Zanpakuto forging function, and he just wanted to take this opportunity to see if he could achieve a breakthrough and directly start his cursed tool forging career. Master Zhou Yi, you have to watch carefully. Gojo Ming held the hammer that Gojo Zui gave him when he was 3 years old, and made a gesture about to forge it. HMPH, brat, after all, I am also the master who taught you forging. How could I be surprised by you? Gojo Zui thinks he knows Gojo Ming's forging skills very well. Although Gojo Ming is very talented in cursed tool forging, after all, he is only a 6-year-old kid now. Could it be said that a 6-year-old kid can forge cursed tool? This kind of thing is impossible even if you think about it, right? Forging cursed tool at the age of 6, it is impossible to think about it. Ding dong dong dong. Gojo shouted softly and slammed down the hammer in his hand. The powerful physical strength given to him by heavenly restriction allows him to forge freely with his 6-year-old body. The strength is good, but the rhythm is not good enough. Gojo Zui nodded secretly. Although he said this verbally, he was very satisfied in his heart. Ming, we need to increase the speed here. Ming, you have to learn to control your strength. Ming, don't be impatient in forging. Gojo Zui kept pointing out Gojo Ming's current problems, but at the same time he became more and more surprised. Open black lens bracket. What's the situation? How did Ming's forging level improve so quickly? Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming concentrated on forging, but he was also following Gojo Zui's suggestions and constantly improving. The proficiency of the forging skills increased unknowingly. Without Gojo Ming noticing, the smoothness of the forging skills had reached the requirement to activate the Zanpakuto forging function. The prerequisites for detecting the host are met, and the Zanpakuto cursed tool forging function is enabled. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming, who was focused on forging at this time, did not pay attention to the prompts given by the system. He devoted himself wholeheartedly to the forging process, and with the assistance of system functions, he continued to improve his forging skills. The little ghosts nowadays are really scary. We can't underestimate them. Facing Gojo Ming's skillful forging skills, Gojo Zui's expression became more and more solemn. He had a hunch that if Gojo Ming continued forging like this, perhaps Gojo Ming could really forge the #1 craftsman at the age of 6. Put the cursed tool. Suddenly, Gojo Zui's eyes narrowed slightly, staring directly at Gojo Ming's waving movements. Because he saw that Gojo Ming's hammering technique was exactly the same as the one he used when forging the cursed tool. What's happening here? With Ming's current body and strength, it is impossible for him to be able to support this hammering technique. What's the reason, and what's going on with Ming's body and hammering proficiency? Close black lens bracket. We can no longer let Ming continue to forge like this. His current body will be overdrawn if it continues like this. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Zui was about to take action to stop Gojo Ming's next move, but in the next second, his body froze, and he was unable to move under Gojo Ming's indomitable forging momentum. Ding, ding, dang, ding dang ding dang. With the crisp hammering sound, Gojo Ming's hammering speed became faster and faster, sweat had soaked his clothes, and steam enveloped Gojo Ming's whole body. What exactly happened? Close black lens bracket. Gojo, who was in shock, was ready to burst out with rare magical power. He released gray-blue light from his hands, trying to stop it forcibly. However, what surprised him was that the magic power he was bound to win was like hitting cotton, unable to affect Gojo Ming at all. In fact, he couldn't even stop Gojo's movements. Under the sound of hammering, Gojo Ming subconsciously picked up the cursed tool Yi Ning that Gojo Zhou Yi had put aside before, and put it directly into the embryo he forged. Ming, are you really planning to forge cursed tool? Close black lens bracket. What kind of forging technique is this? Are you planning to borrow the existing cursed tool and directly fuse it and recreate it? Close black lens bracket. After all, Gojo Zui is also the forging master of cursed tool. Although he has never seen this forging method, he can roughly guess what Gojo Ming is thinking. However, when he actually saw Gojo Ming doing this, he still felt that his imagination was somewhat subverted. In front of the blazing furnace, Gojo Zui could actually feel the slightest chill from this cursed tool. Open black lens bracket. What happened? Why is there such a cold frost attribute? Close black lens bracket. So that's it, Yi Ning's attribute is ice. The ability to coagulate blood all over the body comes from the frost attribute in the body. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Zui suddenly realized that although he was also a forging master, he didn't know much about this weapon before studying Yi Ning carefully. And Gojo Ming actually knew the properties of this weapon just after touching it. That's why you dare to put Yi Ning into the weapon embryo so casually. Isn't this too scary? Could it be that I haven't fully discovered Gojo Ming's talent in cursed tool forging before? Gojo Zui opened his mouth wide, but he did not dare to make a sound for fear of affecting Gojo Ming's cursed tool forging. He realized that in the next time, he might see a new cursed tool that subverts the entire cursed tool forging world. At the same time, Gojo Ming, who devoted himself wholeheartedly to the forging of cursed tool, frowned, and his childish face was covered with sweat, but he didn't know it. He has been completely immersed in cursed tool forging. In other words, at this moment, he has been possessed by Soul Society's sword god Naimeo. At this moment, he is the sword god who forges all Zanpakuto. The frost and cold air in Yi Ning's body continued to merge with the embryo forged by Gojo Ming, and a brand new knife had begun to take shape. After an hour of clanging hammer blows, Gojo Ming finally forged the first Zanpakuto. Open black lens bracket. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully forging the Zanpakuto Soda Shirayuki and successfully activating the Zanpakuto Soda Shirayuki function. Close black lens bracket. Zu fist and walking ghost. Cut refers to the way of the sword, fist refers to the white strike, walk refers to the instant step, and ghost refers to the ghost way. Close black lens bracket. After the function of killing fists and walking away ghosts is turned on, the host is asked to improve accordingly in order. Every time the current skill reaches 100% proficiency, the next skill can be turned on. Close black lens bracket. As of now, all functions of the system have been enabled. The subsequent functions have been damaged, please repair them and then look for opening conditions. Close black lens bracket. Listening to the notification sound in his mind, Gojo Ming suddenly felt relaxed, and then he felt a sense of fatigue all over his body. With his current 6-year-old body, even with the strengthening of the body by heavenly restriction, such a long period of hard forging has consumed all his current energy. It turns out that the condition for turning on the Zanpakuto function is to successfully forge a Zanpakuto. Close black lens bracket. It turns out that the damaged skills of the system can still be repaired. I don't know how to fix it, but it's good to have hope. Close black lens bracket. Fortunately, the first Zanpakuto was successfully forged. Sure enough, it's exactly what I imagined. This Night Ning can provide ice attribute power to the Zanpakuto, Soda Shirayuki. Close black lens bracket. Although he is not the strongest ice-attributed Zanpakuto Hiranmaru in Soul Society, Soda Shirayuki is already very good. I really want to see with my own eyes what this most beautiful Zanpakuto looks like. Although Gojo Naru wanted to see Soda Shirayuki with his own eyes, the feeling of exhaustion had begun to invade his brain. He glanced at Gojo Zui beside him and wanted to speak, but the next second, he fell asleep. Ding dong. Gojo's hammer slipped from his hand, and the sound of gold and iron finally woke up Gojo Zui, who was completely shocked. Ming, be careful. Gojo Zui quickly ducked to catch Gojo Ming, who almost fell to the ground, and carefully placed him on the bed beside him. Looking at his apprentice's pale face, Gojo Zui had a trace of distress on his face, and at the same time he secretly made up his mind. Gojo Ming is too young, and he must not be allowed to overuse his energy to forge cursed tool like this. Although a 6-year-old cursed tool forger would definitely shock the entire Jujutsu world, Gojo Takuya still didn't want Gojo Ming to become famous because of this incident. In his opinion, Gojo Ming is also 6 eyes, and the profession of cursed tool master is never the right path. I don't know why, but at the first sight of Gojo Ming, Gojo Takuya felt that this little boy would definitely leave a mark in the entire Jujutsu world in the future. After settling Gojo Ming, Gojo Zui once again returned his attention to the cursed tool forged by Gojo Ming. Seeing the appearance of this knife, Gojo Zui was stunned. Open black lens bracket. What's happening here? Who changed the weapon? It was obviously not like this before. Close black lens bracket. When the forging was successful, this cold knife was obviously pure white. Why does it look no different from an ordinary samurai sword now? Close black lens bracket. Gojo Zui's heart is full of doubts. Although he is not very strong in spell power, he is still a jujutsu master after all, and it is impossible for anyone to silently replace the knife forged by Gojo Naru in front of him. Then, the only possibility is that this mediocre katana was forged by Gojo Ming before. Could it be that the white katana he just saw was just his illusion? It shouldn't be. I didn't eat anything wrong today, so how could I be dazzled? For a cursed tool blacksmith, a sharp eye is the most basic requirement. Therefore, if all this had not happened in front of Gojo Zui, he would not have believed that he had just seen it wrong. So, what kind of ability does this cursed tool have? Does it have the same frost attribute ability as Yi Ning? Gojo Zui picked up Soda Shirayuki, his eyes constantly moving on the blade, and handle. At the same time, he also tried to instill his scarce magic power into Soda Shirayuki. However, it is a pity that Soda Shirayuki did not give Gojo Takuya any response. Did I misunderstand that what Ming forged was not the cursed tool, but just an ordinary weapon? But, do ordinary weapons need to use one and cursed tool as materials? During the forging process just now, I obviously felt that there is a lot of power hidden in this cursed tool. Gojo Zui shook his head in confusion. He feels that this weapon is definitely a cursed tool, but it may be that his current spell power cannot activate the effect of this cursed tool. It seems that the secret hidden in this cursed tool may need to be understood after Ming wakes up. Gojo Zui carefully prepared to put away Soda Shirayuki, but the next second, the door of the forging house was suddenly pushed open. Gojo Shunichi, what are you doing here? Seeing the visitor, Gojo Zui frowned slightly and his tone was not very good. Shunyi's attitude towards Gojo Ming was obvious to the entire clan. At this moment, if he appears here, nothing good will happen. Oh, why, Master Zhou Yi doesn't seem to welcome me very much. Gojo Shunyi didn't care about Gojo Zui's attitude. When he called Gojo Zui Master Zui, there was a hint of contempt in his tone. He is the second-level Jujutsu master of the Gojo family and is also a Kendo master. His status is much higher than that of cursed tool master Gojo Takuya, so he doesn't care about Gojo Takuya's thoughts at all. Gojo walked into the forging house without any care, and at the same time looked around at every corner of the house casually. When he saw Gojo sleeping beside him, a hint of disdain appeared on his face. Does the fake 6 eyes still want to compete with the real 6 eyes? There are people who are more talented than you and work harder than you. Why should you be on an equal footing with Master Wu? Close black lens bracket. Master Wu is the hope for the future of the Gojo family. He is the real pupil of the sky. Your survival will only affect the future of the 5th master. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Shunichi did not hide his dissatisfaction with Gojo Ming at all. Although they are two people with exactly the same appearance, Gojo Shunyi's attitude towards them is so different. The root of all this is undoubtedly the amount of spell power the two people have. HMPH, Shunyi. What on earth do you want to do here? Gojo Zui emphasized again, his whole face pulled down. This is his forging house after all. Even though Jujutsu masters have a very high status in the Gojo family, this is not the reason why Gojo Shunyi disrespects him so much. After all, he is also the only blacksmith master in the entire Gojo family. After being nodded by Gojo Takuya, Gojo Shunyi's eyes also moved away from Gojo Ming. The next second, Gojo Shunyi's eyes stayed on the Soda Shirayuki in Gojo Takuya's hand. I just finished interrogating the assassin, and I heard that he also had a first-level cursed tool taken away by you. I'm here to take it away from him. That first-level cursed tool needs to be used as a murder weapon and is under the control of the Gojo family's treasury. Master Zui, Please obediently hand over that first-level cursed tool. It turns out that coming to find Yi Ning is Gojo Shunichi's real purpose. After all, this is a first-level cursed tool, which is very rare in the entire Jujutsu world. Before, Gojo Shunichi was very dissatisfied with this assassin, but after hearing that the assassin actually sent a first-level cursed tool, his mood suddenly improved a lot. Where is the assassin here? It's obviously an angel who comes to send you warmth, okay. If so, please push harder. Invite more assassins and send more cursed tools. Level 1 Cursed Tool. Gojo Zui stiffened and subconsciously put Soda Shirayuki behind him. Yi Ning has now disappeared from this world, and he does not have a first-level cursed tool that he can give to Gojo Shunny. As for the Soda Shirayuki currently in his hand, this is the cursed tool created by Gojo Ming for the first time. No matter what grade it will be confirmed to be in the future, he does not want this weapon to be taken away by Gojo Shunichi. However, how could Gojo Shunichi, a second-level Jujutsu master, not notice something strange about Gojo Takuya? The moment Gojo Takuya put Shu Baishui behind him, he had already flashed up behind Gojo Takuya and snatched it directly from General Shu Baishui. Is this the original one? No wonder you cherished it so much just now. However, it is somewhat unexpected that this first-level cursed tool is so simple and unpretentious. Gojo's expression looked a little regretful. This is not the first-level cursed tool, give it back to me. Gojo Zui felt his empty right hand, his expression full of anger. He didn't expect Gojo Shunny to be so disrespectful to him and snatch Soda Shirayuki directly from him without his consent. Isn't this a cursed tool? Master Zhou Yi is not kidding, right? I can still distinguish whether it is a cursed tool or not. Gojo raised his eyebrows for a moment, his heart filled with disdain. Sure enough, the first-level cursed tool is something that even a blacksmith master really wants to occupy. Will it also make them greedy? No, this is not the Yi Ning. This weapon was just forged by Ming. It is different from what you think. Gojo Zui's words made Gojo's expression slightly stunned. The cursed tool forged by Gojo Ming. Gojo's eyes flashed with suspicion, and then he burst into laughter. Are you kidding? Gojo Ming is only 6 years old and he can forge cursed tool. Are you kidding me? When did you cursed tool master's entry threshold become so low? If that's the case, then let the other losers in the Gojo family learn from you. For being able to train a 6-year-old cursed tool blacksmith, I don't think I can call you Master Zui anymore. I should call you Grandmaster Zui, right? Isn't that right, Master Zui? Gojo's instant sarcasm made Gojo Zui's face turn blue and purple. Although Gojo Zui is the master of cursed tool forging, he is also famous in the entire cursed tool forging world for not having an apprentice. How many apprentices had studied with him, but none of them survived to the end. They all said that they could not learn anything, and then they chose a new teacher. Therefore, the word, master, is completely a worry for Gojo Zui. On the other side, Gojo Ming frowned and slowly opened his eyes. The mental fatigue still hadn't faded away, but Gojo Shunny's voice was too annoying and noisy, so he could only put his tiredness aside. For being able to train a 6-year-old cursed tool blacksmith, I don't think I can call you Master Zui anymore. I should call you Grandmaster Zui, right? Isn't that right, Master Zui? Hearing the strange aura in Gojo's words, a chill appeared on Gojo Ming's face. Among this family, he is closest to Gojo Zui. Without Gojo Takuya's careful teaching, he would not have been able to improve his forging skills so quickly to meet the conditions for activating the Zanpakuto forging function. So, who is Gojo Shunny to dare to mock his master like this? Gojo Ming sat up silently, looking at everything that happened in front of him coldly, preparing to regain his position for his master. On the other side, Gojo Shunny continued to mock Gojo Zui. You said this cursed tool was forged by Gojo Ming. It's ridiculous. How could someone with his talent be suitable to be a cursed tool master, let alone be able to forge a cursed tool at the age of 6? Absolutely impossible. Gojo Shunny shook his head while pouring the curse power in his body into the cursed tool. The best thing he currently has is only the level 2 cursed tool, and he has never tried the power of the level 1 cursed tool. Just take this opportunity to experience the special abilities of this cursed tool named Yi Ning. But as the magic power was instilled, Gojo's expression suddenly froze. He felt that his feelings should not be wrong. This weapon should be the cursed tool, but why couldn't his curse have any effect? This is not common sense at all. Under normal circumstances, as long as it is a cursed tool, it can produce corresponding effects under the influence of curses. Could it be said that the characteristic of this cursed tool is pure physical power? However, it shouldn't be. Such pure physical power is not like the fighting style of the killer jujutsu master named Haruki Arai. No way. Gojo's eyes widened subconsciously for a moment. Is it really my misunderstanding? This weapon is not the cursed tool, but just an ordinary toy forged by Gojo Ming. Close black lens bracket. This must be the case. Gojo Zui must have looked at Gojo Ming's forging with colored glasses, so he thought it was a cursed tool. Close black lens bracket. Damn it, you actually misled me. Where did Gojo Zui hide the first level cursed tool? Close black lens bracket. This is really not cursed tool, it's really rubbish. You are worthy of being the enemy of master and craftsman. It is obviously just an ordinary toy, but you still try to call such a thing a cursed tool. Master Zhou Yi, I wonder if your colleagues would cry silently on the sidelines if they saw you degenerate like this. If you really don't have the talent to teach disciples, then you should do your own thing well, forge the cursed tool well, and continue to make your own contribution to the family instead of spending your energy on a waste. Gojo's voice suddenly disappeared. When he pointed at Gojo Ming and called him useless, he found that Gojo Ming beside him had already woken up and looked at him with an indifferent expression. Gojo's expression was a little embarrassed. Although he had always thought so in his heart, he still could not say such words directly in front of the rightful master. After all, Gojo Ming is a direct descendant of the Gojo family. As long as the head of the family does not abolish Gojo Ming's inheritance rights, this trash in front of him may become the representative of the Gojo family in the future. Huh, why don't you say anything, Uncle Shun? Can't you remember what you called me? I'm the loser of the Gojo family. Gojo Ming resisted his tiredness and jumped out of bed and came to Gojo Zui's side. Gojo Shunyi, have you forgotten that the cursed tool you are using was forged by Master Zhou Yi? Without Master's cursed tool, don't you know how many casualties you would have suffered during the mission? Haha, what makes you Jujutsu masters so superior? What, could it be said that your parents were also born Jujutsu masters? Can you guarantee that your child will be a Jujutsu master in the future? The corners of Gojo Ming's mouth raised slightly. He was not a bully who would not fight back when bullied. That is to say, Master Zui has always been thinking about the kindness within the clan. Otherwise, where would he go without being respected by other Jujutsu masters? What, do you really think of yourself as the big three sorcerer families in the Jujutsu world? Do you really think that the Gojo family is invincible? Do you really think that the Gojo family will develop smoothly in the future if they have 6 eyes who understand this? Gojo Shunichi, you are an adult, why are you still so naive? Gojo Ming shrugged, his young face full of mockery. If 6 eyes is everything, then why are there curses in this world? Why are there so many powerful cursed spirits? Why is the king of curses Ryomen Sukuna still there? If 6 eyes is really invincible, then why didn't any of the 6 eyes that came out of the Gojo family died a good death? I know you will place all your hopes on Satoru. However, I want to tell you that Satoru is not invincible. Even if he has the best talent in the world, even if he has 6 eyes, and he masters unlimited techniques, such an enlightenment cannot be invincible. Your expectations for him will only make him go astray. Satoru, I will definitely become the strongest Jujutsu master in the Jujutsu world in the future, but please don't underestimate those curse users and cursed spirits. In the future, Satoru and I still have a long way to go. Although Gojo Ming's voice was childish, it seemed very sonorous and powerful at this moment. Outside the forging house, 2 people, one large and one small, stood silently at the end of the corridor in the distance, their expressions very complex and motionless. Master, is Ming right? Is 6 eyes really invincible? After listening to the boy's question, the old man sighed, touched Gojo Satoru's pure white hair, and shook his head. I didn't expect Naru to have such a comprehensive understanding of the world of Jujutsu. It turns out that there are people in this world who are born to know it. It's a pity that Ming didn't realize your talent. Otherwise, his character might be able to better support the Gojo family in the future. Gojo Satoru looked up at the old man next to the god, his blue eyes full of curiosity. Master, even if Ming doesn't have magical powers, he will definitely become a unique being in the world of Jujutsu. If Naru is willing to take over the Gojo family, I am willing to help Naru manage the Gojo family well. Gojo Satoru's tone was firm. He could feel his brother's love for him, and at the same time, the guilt in his heart for Gojo Ming made him willing to give up all the good things to Gojo Ming. The old man glanced at Gojo Satoru blankly, with a trace of kindness on his face. Wu, the position of the head of the family is not easy to take. If you really feel sorry for Ming, then you can take on the pressure yourself. Perhaps, when you truly come to this position, you can change Ming's attitude, destiny. The old man sighed, full of regret for the existence of Gojo Ming. This time, he brought Gojo Satoru to the forge house, partly to meet Gojo Ming. After all, he hadn't seen him for a long time. On the other hand, he also hopes to see how well the first-level cursed tool fits Gojo Satoru. If possible, he also hopes to equip Gojo Satoru with this first-level cursed tool named Yi Ning. However, what he didn't expect was that Gojo Shunyi would appear here and show such dissatisfaction with Gojo Ming. I won't let Shunyi serve as your bodyguard from now on. The old man made his decision. Listen to the master. Gojo Satoru's face showed the same indifferent expression as Gojo Naru's. If the head of the family didn't punish Gojo instantly, he might take it upon himself to save his brother. How could he, Gojo Satoru's younger brother, be a loser? In the forge house, Gojo Shunyi was scolded by Gojo Ming, and his expression was very ugly. He wanted to refute, but couldn't find a reason to refute, so he could only shift the blame to Gojo Zui. Master Wu's future will naturally be decided by himself. But, am I wrong? Does Gojo Zui really have the talent to teach apprentices? He just said that this weapon was the cursed tool forged by you. Haha, you can't even tell the difference between a cursed tool and an ordinary weapon. I think Gojo Zui must have lost his sight. Gojo Shunyi directly started to attack Gojo Zui with words. All of this made Gojo Ming's expression become colder and colder. Who told you that this weapon does not belong to cursed tool? Gojo Ming laughed and said coldly. I discovered it myself. This weapon doesn't have any magic power at all. How could it be a cursed tool? I can't feel the existence of any magic power or magic spells on this weapon. Gojo Shuichi retorted confidently. However, what surprised him was that his confidence did not impress Gojo Ming, but instead made Gojo Ming laugh directly. Then, he saw Gojo Ming shaking his head contemptuously, with an expression that said he had seen too little. After you have seen Zenon's special cursed tool, come talk to me again. If you don't understand anything, dare to use your common sense to challenge my expertise. Close black lens bracket. Gojo Ming stretched out his right hand. Give me the thing. Let's have a test. I remember that Uncle Shun, your cursed tool is also a katana. Let's have a test to see if my weapon is actually a cursed tool. Gojo Ming's calm expression made Gojo instantly feel that something was wrong. He didn't know why Gojo Ming had such confidence. Could it be that the katana in his hand is really the cursed tool? However, what can Gojo Ming do even if he gets this cursed tool? Does Gojo Ming have the magic power to use the cursed tool? Gojo Shunyi really wanted to follow Gojo Ming's words and teach Gojo Ming a lesson through the competition, but he still did not dare to take action against a direct descendant of the family like Gojo Ming. It's okay, Uncle Shun, let's make a bet. Let Master Zhou Yi be the witness. If the cursed tool I forged is more powerful than yours, then you have to stand down and apologize to Master Zhou Yi. The next time you see Master Zhou Yi, you must stay away. As for me, if I lose, I will never take the initiative to contact Satoru in the future. How's it going? Aren't you always worried about the twins' curse? If I don't come into contact with Satoru, you should be able to relax a lot, right? The corners of Gojo Ming's mouth raised slightly, and a playful smile appeared on his face. Ming, you. Gojo Zui's face changed when he heard such a bet. Although he had been giving Gojo Ming chicken soup to make him think about not competing with Gojo Satoru, he did not want Gojo Ming to alienate his relationship with Gojo Satoru. Moreover, the weight of these two bets is a bit too unequal, right? Gojo Zui just wanted to stop him, but was interrupted by Gojo Ming's firm eyes. Master Zhou Yi, you just need to be a good witness. How about it? Uncle Shun, are you scared? Gojo Ming raised his head and looked at Gojo Shunny, who was much taller than him. The contempt on his face made Gojo Shunny furious. For the Gojo family, for Master Wu to grow better. Today, even if I offend a direct descendant of the family, I am willing to accept the corresponding punishment. Close black lens bracket. Okay, I promise you, Master Ming. Gojo immediately gritted his teeth and agreed to Gojo Ming's bet. He wanted Gojo Ming to see what a real cursed tool is. He touched his old friend, Shin Ming, on his waist, feeling full of confidence in winning. Gojo Ming, how could a person with no magic power defeat him in the cursed tool competition? Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.